Hey guys, welcome. Today we're talking about the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge, which I cannot believe is like just around the corner. Where did 2022 go? But anyway, today we're going over the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge. It's actually our 5th New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge, which is mind blowing. We're going to go over how to join, what's included, as well as the over $1,000 worth of grand prizes. Super excited about the New Year Challenge. It's always one of my favorites just because it's a really great way to kick off the year and feel really great. So let's dive into the details. If you guys didn't already receive the Monday email, then this might be new to you. So the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge starts on Monday, January 2nd. It's a 28-day long challenge. So during the first week, we're actually going to be doing the detox. We'll get into that in just a second. And then followed by the 3 weeks of intermittent fasting. So we have one grand prize winner at the end with over $1,000 worth of grand prizes, which we'll also get into in a second because we have a lot of amazing sponsors for this year's challenge. 4 weeks of meal planning, weekly live streams, the community support, which honestly is like my favorite part of these challenges because the AN community is just so supportive and so amazing. It's just super inspirational if you're ever feeling like you need a dose of inspiration to go through the community page. Over 16,000 members in there, and all of them are just really amazing and supportive along our journeys. And then, of course, the weekly tips and newsletter. So like I mentioned, during the first week, we're going to start with the 7-day detox. And I always find this really important, especially after the holidays. I mean, we're kind of still in the midst of the holidays right now, but typically there's more alcohol, there's more sugar, there's more refined carbohydrates eaten during this time that can really just clog up, slow down the liver. So we want to give the liver a little bit of a break and allow it to detox from the holidays so that it can get better at burning fat as fuel, which makes it so much easier to then transition into intermittent fasting for the weeks 2 through 4 of the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge, which if you guys are just tuning in, we're going over the details of the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge, which starts on Monday, January 2nd. So 2 weeks from today. Still can't believe it's like 2023 in a couple of weeks. So crazy. So what we're just talking about is starting off with the 7-day detox to help really prep the liver, especially after the holidays. We really need to make sure we give the liver a little bit of a break so it can actually break down those excess sugars, excess alcohol, excess just refined carbohydrates or various toxins so that it can then, again, become better at using fat as fuel. So this is actually Jeanette's favorite part of the whole program. I've shared her story in the past, but she loves this program to always come back to, especially after the holidays, because it helps to increase your energy. Of course, you do experience weight loss typically as well, and then feeling better is one huge aspect. One of my favorite things about going back to the 7-day detox, especially after the holidays, is it helps to reset taste buds. So, especially after the holidays, if you've had more sugar, you might be inclined to crave more sugar as well. So going back to the 7-day detox and just taking a break from that really helps to reset your taste buds and make it so that you aren't going to be craving as much sugar too. And then, of course, we just dive into the 21-day intermittent fasting program that has the amazing recipes, has the workout programs, which is also one of my favorite aspects of it because, Kristen shared her story last year, I believe it was, and she talked about how incorporating the workouts with the intermittent fasting program really helped her to break through her weight loss plateau and to lose an additional 15 pounds, as well as have body recomposition. So really fun, delicious recipes, which you guys know I'm a big fan of and I love. And then I also have the free New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge just calendar. If you guys love the different recipes, like if you have the 6-week meal plan, or if you have, any of the other programs, you can always mix and match and make your own program as well. So I have the free calendar that you can also use to then pair with the challenge. And of course, joined by the amazing AM peeps around this community. You've seen a couple of their stories before, especially Corolla and Guylaine, Jeanette, Kristen actually is on there too, bottom right. But these are the amazing people in the AN community who are super active actually in the Facebook group and really just supportive throughout the whole journey. So we do start on Monday, January 2nd. And I also wanted to go through and show you guys some of the amazing grand prizes we have for this year's challenge, because we have a lot, over $1,000 worth of grand prizes. So one huge one is that one grand prize winner will be getting a year subscription for free to Purity Coffee, which is my absolute favorite coffee. And then we have some amazing superfoods and matcha from the Reserve, which I can't even hold them all, but these are really great smoothie additions that I like to add into my smoothies. And then we also have Paleo Valley this year. So they have some really great high quality supplements like their turmeric complex and their neuro effect, which is like a mushroom complex. And then Element. You guys know I'm a big fan of Element, but they're going to be providing quite a bit of Element electrolytes for 1 gram prize winner. Then, of course, you guys know, have to throw my protein powder in there. So 1 gram prize winner is going to be receiving all of this at the end of the challenge. So we have a lot of really fun goodies throughout the challenge, of course, and then at the end as well. So I wanted to go through and answer some questions as well. If any of you guys have questions for the challenge or just general questions on intermittent fasting, now's a really great time. But one great thing as well is during the challenge, I do these weekly live streams. And lately I've been doing these diet reviews that I think you guys have been really liking. So I might be picking that up again for the New Year challenge as well. But it's a great place to get the Q&A in and answer questions and make sure that I can be as much help as possible throughout your journey too. Oh yeah, Jean loves the coffee. I just received my first order. It's amazing. Like I have been drinking Purity coffee for over 5 years. I think it's been like 6 or 7 years at this point, and I don't drink anything else. Yes. So anybody who's just now tuning in, we're talking about the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge. I actually have the details for how to join in, how you can get started linked down description below. So if you didn't get today's email, make sure you check out the link down description below, or you can just go to my website, Autumn, E-L-L-E Nutrition. So autumnlnutrition.com. Head over to the blog, and it's the most recent blog post with all the details that I just went over on how you can join the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge. Just really start feeling good again. Like that's the main goal with all these challenges, is just make the body feel great, help start achieving your weight loss and wellness goals, and just feeling really, really great again while eating amazing food, of course. Hello, Skills Many. Oh, Jean, excited for the challenge. Me too. I don't have my coffee right now. I actually already drank it. So lemon water, cheers. Okay, so Rambler, does that mean not eating fruit to detox liver? No, it doesn't mean not eating fruit. We have in the 7-day detox, you'll get the 7-day or the detox commandments. So within the detox commandments, there's definitely foods that we want to remove, added sugars being one really important aspect. But then there's also foods we want to actively add in. And there's actually even need some water. There's actually even some really great fruits that are supportive of liver detox. So it's not necessarily like you're cutting out all fruit in order to just eliminate all sugar. We just want to focus on the ones that are most greatly going to inhibit detox, and then adding back in those foods that support detox. So that's the whole goal with the first week of the challenge, is getting the body just in that state where it's able to remove those excess toxins while supporting the liver with foods that help to support detox. Oh my gosh, Steven, very, very cold Yukon morning. Yeah, so I can't even complain. I'm in Southern California and it feels really cold here, but I'm sure it's a lot colder there. All right, Kelly, hello, amazing prizes. I'm in. Have you ever blended your whey powder into coffee? Does that work? I personally don't like to put protein in coffee, mostly just because I like to have smoothies. So that's the way I take it. I know there are some A&P peeps who do put it in their coffee. So it's really just a personal preference, but it is important to note that protein, if you are intermittent fasting, does break a fast. So I always recommend having that during your eating window. Nice. Just ordered and received Element. Cheers. Starting off the day with some electrolytes. Okay. Is this brand different than your other challenges? I'm not sure what your question is. Okay. So if you're asking on if we're using a different program. So if you followed the 6-week summer challenge, that is a different challenge. I did have a couple questions about that this morning. So the 6-week summer challenge is a limited release challenge that we do just during the summer. And then this is a really great jumpstart into the new year that we like to have each new year, of starting off the detox and the 21-day program. So if you already have the complete intermittent fasting bundle, you are all set. You actually already have the programs to get started. I would just still check out the link that I have down description below, so that you can make sure you have all of the other tips and strategies to get started for the challenge too. But if this is your first intermittent fasting challenge, then that is going to be different than the 6-week summer challenge. So just to clear things up, I'm not sure if that answered your question or if that's what your question was. All right. Dora, hello from Greece. Thank you for loving our yogurt so much. Yeah, Greek yogurt is amazing. um, okay. Holly, want to join, but how do I incorporate it working night shift? What hours would be good? Yeah, so I actually have a really great interview with a nurse who has who follows the programs, but also has night shifts. So if you look up, she gives a lot of really great tips on what she does. You can absolutely follow intermittent fasting while doing a night shift, but I would look up the interview that I did with her so you can just see how you can more specifically apply it to you and what your schedule is. So if you just type Autumn Bates night shift on YouTube, it should pop right up. And that will be a really great resource for you just to see how you can more specifically tailor it to you. Oh my gosh, having a tropical storm here in Maui. Wow, hope you're safe. I don't drink any kind of caffeine. Am I missing out on some sort of super benefit? Caffeine, there are some great benefits of caffeine where it can help, especially in the beginning with intermittent fasting as a natural appetite suppressant during the fast. Or there's just like the great benefit that it tastes amazing. I love actually Purities. This is totally not like a plug for Purity right now, but just honest truth, I love that Purities is more optimized for antioxidants. So it's not necessarily the caffeine specifically, but coffee is so rich in antioxidants. It's actually usually the highest source of antioxidants that anyone gets in a day, even if you're eating a lot of like high quality fruits and veggies. So it's one of the main reasons why I love having it. That and I just love coffee. Well, Jessica, I think I might be a little biased here, but you're asking about egg white protein versus whey protein. Which do I recommend? Any specific brands? I mean, I would have to say my specific brand of whey isolate. But actually, I did look into egg when I was creating my protein powder. But here's the thing, like egg, first of all, whey protein has so many other studied benefits. So I wanted to go with whey, and I went with whey isolate because it is the lowest in lactose. So typically, even those who are lactose intolerant can have whey isolate, because mine's 100% pure whey isolate, and still be able to have it without having like bloating issues. And there's all the other amazing, but I have a whole video on the 10 benefits, that's studied benefits of whey isolate or even just whey protein powder, including like really rich in cysteine, which is also really important for liver detox. And I think it just tastes so much better. I think it's so important to make sure that you actually are enjoying what you're eating and that, flavors are good, that my protein powder is specifically designed to taste amazing recipes. That's why I have the free download with 10 recipes when you buy it. And then I had tested out egg just to see, I wanted to see the different options when I was doing my different protein powder and not, have an open opinion about these. Honestly, egg protein, I hate the taste, and I don't know if you've ever made like a meringue, but it makes like a meringue consistency when you mix it into things. Like if you have a smoothie, it makes it really, really thick and like meringue. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of egg. That's why I personally went with whey isolate, and it's just so many other study benefits. So if you're looking for a brand, there's mine. And you can find it at autumnlnutrition.com/shop. Okay. Let me see. So Kelly, I understand the difference in value of complete versus incomplete protein, but if you don't manage to get complete, is it a train smash if you top up your protein from incomplete sources too? It's not a train smash. You're just not getting all of the benefits. So when we look at the benefits of protein, they're from complete sources. So there's some type of complementary proteins you could get, but you have to eat so much more of it when you are looking at like combining, let's say, beans and rice, for example. That's like a typical protein combination. But you have to eat in order to get the proper amounts of amino acids to make it complete. So much more. I don't have the specific numbers on hand right now, but it's a lot more than if you were to just get it from complete sources of protein. So I always like to just err on the side of, if I'm feeling like I'm not getting enough protein that day, if I know I'm not hitting my protein needs, just getting like even a quick little protein add-on, having like a hard-boiled egg, having some cheese, having one of the beef sticks, Paleo Valley, which is actually one of the sponsors for the challenge this year. They have a really great beef stick option. So just looking for a little extra source of a high quality complete protein so that I can make sure I'm getting all the benefits of those complete proteins. Oh, thanks. Tiavana just made the Greek yogurt and you gave credit to me. Thank you. Okay, Maui girl, do you take prebiotic or probiotics? I personally don't. I don't find very much use in probiotics, especially if I'm eating fermented foods because it's such a great natural source of probiotics. So I used to, I had in the past, and I just never saw any great benefit. So I just get my probiotics from natural probiotic rich foods. And just we have probiotics within our body that when we feed it the right types of prebiotics, which you actually get from the food you're eating, it helps to naturally flourish and grow that good bacteria too. So, sometimes there's like a specific case where you might want to use probiotics, but it can actually sometimes be more of a problem than a good thing. Like, for example, if you have SIBO, which is small intestine bacterial overgrowth, something that surprisingly a lot more people have than you might think, that can actually feed more of that bad bacteria and make that problem worse. So there's definitely like, there can be cases for using probiotics, especially in certain phases of healing of the gut. But just for like general broad spectrum use, I usually just recommend trying to get it from your food. Autumn's protein is the best. Yum. Thank you. Jenny, any suggestion on something else if I can't have whey? First of all, and it's not like I'm really not trying to like push my protein, I swear. This is just something that I thought I used to not be able to do too. I thought that I couldn't handle whey. Unless you're allergic to dairy, a lot of people can actually have whey isolate. It's just a lot of brands are whey concentrate, which is, it has a lot more lactose in it. So a lot of people get really bloated, or, they might experience what they typically might experience from having like a glass of milk, like maybe breakouts or something. I was so concerned when I first was trying whey like years ago that I was going to get breakouts because that was something that I thought was causing it. But I did not experience that at all when I was using whey isolate. And I attribute that to it being so low in lactose. So like there's been a lot of people in the Facebook group in the community who are like, wow, I thought I couldn't handle whey. And then I tried your 100% whey isolate and it's perfectly fine. So unless you're like allergic to whey, then typically a lot of people who are actually lactose intolerant can have whey isolate because it's so naturally low in lactose from being removed. But if you like, let's say if you are allergic, then the other second best option would be the egg white protein. It's not my favorite taste, but it would be the other second best option from a complete protein standpoint. There's also, I know some people like the bone broth proteins. Unfortunately, those aren't complete proteins, so they're kind of not the same. It's kind of like using just collagen. So I always recommend first the whey isolate, and then if you just like are allergic or you can't tolerate it for whatever reason, then the egg white is the next best option. All right, Kat, just tried the purity coffee for the first time today. I think I'm in love. Thanks for your recommendation. You're welcome. Yeah, if you guys want to test out purity, I actually have a discount code. I think it's just autumn at checkout, and I think you get 20% off. Oh, Jessica, awesome. I wasn't aware you have a protein. Just found you. Where can I buy? Thank you for your honest opinion. Yeah, so I have it on my website. If you just go to autumnlnutrition.com/shop, or you can just go to my website and go to the shop page. So autumn and then ELLE nutrition.com. Then you can just check it out there. Wow, congratulations. Good morning, Autumn. Thank you so much for your informative videos. I've learned so much since following you, and I've lost 9 pounds so far this month. Wow, congratulations. Okay. I think I answered this already. Is this different than your other 28-day challenge? Yeah. So if you have done, like if you have the complete intermittent fasting bundle already, you have the program to get started. So you can still just take your 7-day detox and your 21-day program and be able to jump straight in. The other options I've talked about in the past with the 28-day challenges is using the level up guide as an intermediate route. I actually am only recommending doing the 7-day detox and the 21-day program for this challenge, regardless of what level you're at, because it's right after the holidays. So again, if you guys are just tuning in and you're like, what is this live stream? We're actually going over the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge, which is starting on Monday, January 2nd. It's a 28-day or 4-week long challenge with the step-by-step meal plans, the recipes, all of that fun stuff. So it's going to be really, really fun. This is one of my favorite challenges to just really kick off the new year, especially starting off with the 7-day detox. So you can check out the details for how to get started, what programs we're using down in the description below. Hello from UK. I love the UK. I want to go back and visit again. So we are working on international shipping. It's a little bit more tricky than you might think, but we are really working on it on the back end. So I know I've been saying that for a little bit, but we are working on getting the protein powder out soon. Okay, Lynn, is it more important to reach your protein goal or give your gut the 4-hour rest between eating? This is kind of difficult because are we assuming you're also using intermittent fasting? Because I think one thing that sometimes people mix up when we talk about the 4-hour gap is that the 4-hour gap isn't as necessary if you're already using intermittent fasting. Because the whole reason why we're talking about the 4-hour gaps between your meals is so that you can get that migrating motor complex stimulated. You can help your gut start to get that MMC going and clean out that left behind food and bacteria that would normally cause bloating. But if you're using intermittent fasting, you're already getting that. So you also are getting that during your fasted state. So if you're already using intermittent fasting, I don't want you to stress about that 4-hour gap between your meals during your eating window. That would make figuring out when you're having your meals like a really tight amount of time if you're doing that 3-meal structure. So I'd rather you just focus on that fast and then get all your protein needs in within that eating window, but sticking ideally to meals. If you are doing if you're not using intermittent fasting and you're just trying to get that 4-hour gap, I would say try and do both because you should be able to get all your protein needs in if you're not using intermittent fasting and doing the 4-hour gap. I'm not sure if that made sense, but in other words, if you're using intermittent fasting, you don't have to focus on that just 4-hour gap with your MMC. Okay. Dale, during the detox and 21-day program, do you have the most success by strictly following the meals in the program? So you don't have to strictly follow the meals. That's actually why, here, let me scroll back on here for you. That's actually why I have this download as well. So if you like to follow the A and nutrient timing, which is like the nutrient timing on how you can actually construct your own meals that I have within the 21-day program. Like if you love to cook, you love to create your own recipes, that's totally fine. I love that. But we want to make sure that you are still following the A and nutrient timing, make sure that you're actually getting the most benefits out of it and making sure that you're still at least following the structure that the meals are following. So that's where you can use the free New Year challenge calendar, and you can use that to structure how you're going to have your meals or mix and match from different programs. But I would recommend it, especially for actually following the challenge, that you are at least following the A and nutrient timing. I don't have what page it's on right now. It's not off the top of my head. I think it's like page 25 or something in the 21-day program. But that would be a really great page to review within the 21-day intermittent fasting program if you love to make your own recipes or if you are going to restaurants a lot and you need to know how to make your own meals there. Okay. I do use a whole packet of electrolyte. It is loaded with salt, and that's actually a good thing. I know that's something that might seem very counterintuitive, but it's actually really important based on the physiological state that you're in when fasting. So the reason why salt can be such a problem can be a problem for some people in like the modern day society, the way that we eat right now, is because it's really high in refined carbs and sugars that keep our insulin high. And that causes our body to hold on to water and sodium. And that makes our body can't release that excess sodium that it doesn't need. We actually need to have sodium. We need it in order to transfer messages from our brain to the rest of our body. So it is important to make sure you're getting enough salt, especially if you aren't on a really high refined sugar, high refined carb diet where you're holding on to that excess salt. When you are following fasting, it's a really common phenomenon, especially when you're first beginning, to lose a lot of water and salt. It's called natriuresis. So this is like a physiological thing you can see in like textbooks, and you need to make sure you're replacing that. Otherwise, you can get issues of like headaches or muscle aches or low energy. That's one that a lot of people don't recognize as like a electrolyte issue, but low energy, it can often be an issue of an electrolyte imbalance. So this is something I go over in detail within the 21-day intermittent fasting program on electrolytes and fasting and how much you need and why it's so important. This is why I really recommend before starting any challenge that you read through the programs. There's so much information in there that really helps you to be able to make sure you're doing this in a way that's supportive of your body and supportive of your goals, helps you to be able to more individualize the process for you. So it's not just like a static program, but you can actually individualize the program to your goals and what you need. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're going over the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge, which starts on Monday, January 2nd. If you want the details of how to get started, link down description below. Okay. Well, sing it. This is a good question. I'm sure some of the people in the chat would be happy to answer. But I would like to do a challenge. Which is the biggest benefit at the end, I'm assuming, of this challenge? Weight loss or overall good health that I'll feel? If you go, you can take a look through the, on my blog, I have all the different stories of the AM peeps who have participated in the programs and their experiences. Some have had really significant weight loss, like Ron, who's lost 70 pounds in 6 months. Or Jeanette, of course, who I think it was 44 pounds, if my memory serves correct. But then there's also people where their main goal was deload and to get their gut health back on track. So I would recommend, if you want to check out what's the potential, you could see some of these stories on my website. You can just go to the blog on my website and then just click the, I think it's the testimonials is what it's under within the blog. Hey, Katie, made it live. All right. Okay. Yeah, good point. So Kelly, we're just talking about like the difference between my whey protein versus other whey proteins where they might say whey isolate. And unfortunately give whey isolate a bad impression. But mine is 100% whey isolate, and a lot of other, protein powder companies will say whey isolate, but if you check the back and you look at the ingredients, which a lot of people just don't know the difference between the different ways, we'll see it says like whey concentrate as one of the ingredients, or milk protein concentrate is another one. Just check out some of the store brands. You'll see what I'm talking about. They do that to really cheapen the product, and it ultimately makes it so it's much higher in lactose. And so it causes a lot of GI distress for a lot of people. Okay. Great question. Is chia fine to have every day? My husband was listening to a podcast where a doctor was saying chia causes inflammation. Thoughts? It is highly, highly, highly dependent on the person. I think I know which doctor you're referring to. And, what he's referring to are the lectins that are in chia seeds. Some people have no issues with them. There's also some people who have issues with every single type of plant fiber, which is why there's some people who have to follow like a carnivore diet. But not everybody needs to follow a carnivore diet. In fact, a lot of people don't. That's kind of the same thing with lectins. Not everybody has an issue with lectins, so I don't like to tell people to just strictly cut out something. That's not going to be an issue for most people. But if you do have an issue with lectins, which there is a small percentage of people who do, then that's where basil seeds could be a good alternative. I did a video on basil seeds versus chia seeds, and they're essentially kind of the same, except that edible basil seeds, don't just like go to your garden and like pick out the basil seeds. But edible basil seeds actually have a little bit more fiber, and then they also don't have the lectins. So if you are sensitive to lectins, which I'm personally not, but if you are, then you could always make the swap for basil seeds. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Mike, still loving the lemon blueberry pie smoothie. That's actually like one of my favorite go-tos. Oh my gosh. I love adding lemon. Like obviously I have it in my water right now, but I love adding lemon into smoothies. It is such a good sneaky little add-on. Okay. Laura, do the recipes have unique, expensive ingredients? And could you make this to feed a whole family? Answering the first part or second part first, absolutely. In fact, there are a lot of recipes that I've had so many of the peeps say that their family absolutely loves. Like I'm sure some people in the chat will say the pumpkin chili is one that their family absolutely loves. The LA street tacos, really, really great for a family as well. So yeah, definitely something that can feed the family. You just might need to adjust the amounts for the servings, of course, depending on how big your family is. And then do the recipes have unique, expensive ingredients? The only unique ingredients I would say, and I do provide swaps, so you could always swap things out if you didn't want to, would be things like chia seeds, coconut butter, which really just involves you getting it once. Like I get a really big bag of chia seeds at Costco. If you haven't seen my Costco grocery haul before, highly recommend you check that out. It's a sneaky resource of really great high quality ingredients. But I get like this really big bag of chia seeds at Costco. I think it's like $7 for like a 3-pound bag. It's nuts. It's mind blowing because that's really, really inexpensive. And that lasts me like because you use like a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons for every smoothie or chia pudding. And that lasts a long time. Like I don't even know, probably like a couple months at least. Oh, Cynthia, thanks for all your info. You've helped me so much. I've lost weight, but more importantly, I'm so much more educated about what it looks like to eat and to be healthy. Thank you. Oh, congratulations, Cynthia. That makes me really happy. Okay. Samantha, hello from Tennessee. Love your protein. Thank you. What is your brand suggestion for Greek yogurt and how do I sign up to win the giveaway? So in order to, again, answering the last question first, in order to sign up for the grand prize, you do have to participate in the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge. So I actually have the details for how you can join the challenge linked down description below. So if you want to check that out and if you're interested in the over $1,000 worth of amazing grand prizes, then check that out, link down description below. And then what is your brand suggestion for Greek yogurt? I've been making my own Greek yogurt for almost 2 years and I love it. It's saves me a lot of money. I just love the process because it's really fun to do. And it's really easy to do. I have a video on that if you are curious. It literally saves me like $500 a year. It's great. Just type in how to make Greek yogurt on YouTube. My video will pop right up. I think it's like the first or second one. But if you don't want to make your own, which I promise you, it's really not as scary as it sounds. But if you don't want to make your own, then some great brands include like Stonyfield is one, Strauss and Maple Hill. Those are some of my favorites. If you can't find those, then there's still Faye, but I would go with the higher fat percentage. So I think it goes up to 4% or 5%. So if you only have let's say a Target close by, then you could go for that yogurt as well. Where is the link? If you click the little arrow for the description down below, then you should see it right below the video. Should be right there. Otherwise, if you can't find it, you can also go to autumnelnutrition.com. So autumn, ELLE nutrition.com, and just head over to my blog. And it's the first blog post that pops up. And that's the blog post with all the details on how to get started with the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge. Yeah. So Tavana, I've been animal-based for approximately 1 month. After strong keto, started Element a week ago. Amazing perceptible results immediately. I can taste and feel that my body wants it. Yeah. So electrolytes are so important, so important. It's just so many people. I saw a comment, someone saying it's bad for your kidneys. It's, again, just depends on the state you're in. If you're already eating a high, it's a high sugar, high refined carb diet that causes your kidneys to hold on to sodium, then yes, that's adding more sodium to that mix is not a good thing. There's so much more research showing that for the vast majority of people who aren't just following the standard American diet, that we're actually under consuming on salt for a lot of people. So there's actually a lot of really great, interesting research on that. I go over some of that in the 21-day intermittent fasting program and why, especially with fasting in that circumstance, it is so important. So make sure you, again, read the programs before we start the challenge on January 2nd. So you make sure you have all this information before you get started. So someone's asking about the difference between brown flax seeds and golden flax seeds. In terms of the general benefit you'll get, I wouldn't stress about the difference. So you could just use either or whatever you find available to you. I don't know about you guys. I've been having an issue finding flax seeds lately. So I've just been doubling up on chia seeds. Okay, another great question. Okay, how to deal with constipation during intermittent fasting. This is such a common sign of an electrolyte imbalance. Again, guys, this is why you need to read through the program in the 21-day intermittent fasting program, because I go over all of this in what you can expect, what are common things that can happen and how to deal with them. Because constipation is something that typically, at least from intermittent fasting standpoint, is an electrolyte issue. There might be some other issues, like maybe you're eating something that's not right for your body, but typically if you notice it after you've started intermittent fasting and that's not normal for you to be constipated, it's so commonly a sign of electrolyte imbalance. So make sure you read through the program, guys. So much information. Link down description below. All right, sing it. Going for the gut health. Great job. Me too, Katie. So excited for this challenge. After the holidays, I mean, we're still in the holidays, but I think we'll all need it. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. That's really nice. I went over this earlier, but we are working. I know I keep saying this, but it is quite tricky to get things over to Canada or even just out of the US. So we are working on that. And we will announce it when we are able to ship internationally. But I would recommend signing up for my weekly newsletter so you can stay in touch, because I will announce it as soon as it's ready for Canada or anywhere else. So you can just sign up for my free weekly newsletter at autumnlnutrition.com, and then you'll just see the free newsletter button up top. Okay, how do you calculate the amount of carbs in homemade yogurt? It's kind of hard to calculate the amount of anything in anything homemade, especially when we're talking about fermentation. So I'm assuming you might mean the Greek yogurt, like my homemade Greek yogurt. So one thing that's actually really interesting about the carbs in like a Greek yogurt, they aren't quite the same as carbs in milk. And that's because they've been fermented down, and they're more of an acid than they are a carb, which means it's not going to have the same impact on blood sugar. In fact, even in like the really, really keto communities where they're really, really, really low carb, they usually don't even consider the carbs that are in Greek yogurt as real carbs because they are more of an acid. And I know an acid doesn't sound like a good thing, but in this case, it actually is. Katie, the chili is on our menu tonight. Yeah, the pumpkin chili is a really great one. Oh, Jean, the pumpkin spice latte smoothie is my favorite. Just broke my fast with it. Yeah, that's a good one. I haven't made that one in a little bit. Need to do that one again. Wow, so many people sharing the recipes they love. I love your pumpkin oatmeal. Oh my gosh, sometimes swap the Greek yogurt with cottage cheese. That's a good idea. I need to do that. So one last question I can figure out, but are there swap outs for keto? So one thing that's really unique about my programs is that I actually have, especially when you get the whole bundle, which I highly advise because it has the level up guide too. But the level up guide has specific protocols for specific goals. And I have a key that helps you to be able to make swaps depending on what that goal is. One of the protocols within the level up guide is the advanced weight loss strategies, which is going to be more on the much lower carbohydrate approach. So if you are following more of a keto diet, then you can just make the swaps that the advanced weight loss strategies protocol is going for. And that would be an easy way for you to make those swaps without having to think too much about the swaps you're doing. So many questions about Canada. Guys, trust me, I'm working really, really hard on it. Have my husband really working hard on it. We're trying to get it out as soon as possible so all my Canadian friends can have it too. Great question. Mr. Master Norris. Hello, please talk about popcorn as a snack. I have a whole video where I go much more deep dive into this. If you type like Autumn Bates popcorn on YouTube, it'll pop right up. But I just don't advise it as a snack. It's not satiating. It doesn't have any protein or fat to help raise satiety hormones. When I'm looking, first of all, I don't really think snacks are a great option because it means that you inherently haven't eaten enough of your last meal to make it to your next meal. So it means that you inherently didn't get enough protein and or fat at your last meal. So that's already an issue. But on top of that, there's no satiety factors. So it's just eating to eat, but it's not actually eating to satiate. If there's ever a need to have something in between a meal, if you are more hungry for whatever reason, then I always recommend going for a high protein and fat type of snack. So again, I don't recommend having snacks, but if you really find that you need one because you didn't eat enough of your last meal, something like those egg bites that they sell at even Costco, which is fantastic. I'm really loving Costco lately. Some cheese or hard-boiled eggs, those beef sticks, all of those would be much better options as a snack. I'm saying that word tentatively because I just don't like snacks. I don't find them useful from a gut health or a weight loss perspective. But if you need it to get to that next meal because you didn't eat enough and you're going to adjust your meals the next day, then that would be a much better option than popcorn. Okay. I don't plan on doing any follow along live workouts, but I do have workout videos within my 21-day program. That's what we're following for the New Year challenge. So if you like more of that follow along style for like workouts, and I do have that in the 21-day, that's included with the 21-day intermittent fasting program. So if you guys are just joining in and if you want to join the New Year challenge, just check out the link down in the description below, or you can head over to my website, autumnlnutrition.com. And then head over to the blog. It's the first blog post listed that has all the details on how to get started. All right. So Lynn switched from smoothie to brekkie bowls. That's a good swap during the winter time when it's cold. I actually did that a couple days ago too. But honestly, I still like, even though it's been like 39 degrees here when I'm breaking my fast, I still go for a smoothie. I'm just addicted to smoothies. uh, oh no. My fiance couldn't find chia seeds at the store, so I can't have my oatmeal. It's my favorite. You could try swapping in flax seeds instead. So if you have flax seeds and chia seeds in terms of like different recipes are fairly interchangeable. There's definitely a slight difference in terms of benefit, but if you want to make the grain-free oatmeal, then I would just use flax seeds in place of the chia seeds to make sure you can still make it until you find it. Okay. Well, I think that's where we're going to. Maybe I'll try and see if I have one more. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question. This is interesting. So, asking for my sister, is it true you can't fast if you're pre-diabetic with low insulin? That's kind of counter. I'm a little confused on that because usually pre-diabetes means you're insulin resistant. So that means you have high insulin. I would ask your sister a little bit more about her circumstance because that doesn't make sense. But there are quite a few people who use intermittent fasting when they are pre-diabetic and they have really great results. But again, that would be a very weird specific situation to be pre-diabetic and low insulin. So you might want to ask your sister more details on that. Okay. Oops. Oh, thanks, Jeff. Jeff says, I love your channel. I'm actually sharing your channel to others on the intermittent fasting Facebook that I'm on. I try to share that with everyone. Thanks so much for spreading the word. Really appreciate it. Well, guys, we have the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge starting on Monday, January 2nd. So this is a 28-day long challenge. We have the over $1,000 worth of grand prizes for this challenge, including some of my protein powder, which I actually talked a lot more about than I was planning on, but I just love it so much. It's a new thing we've just introduced this year, and it's like my love child right now. But we have the New Year Intermittent Fasting Challenge starting on Monday, January 2nd. So really amazing way to kick off the new year. If you want to join in, you can check out the details for how to get started, linked down description below, or head over to my blog at autumnlnutrition.com. So just go to that and then head over to my blog. First blog post listed for how you can join in. Otherwise, guys, we will be doing another live stream on the first day of the challenge. So on Monday, January 2nd, and every week of the challenge as well. So I will see you guys soon. Have a really amazing, happy holiday